He said he had to have, I can't remember how many inches, but so much of his intestines replaced. It was plastic. And I said, well, I bet you one thing. And he said, what's that? I said, I bet you won't have the guts to do that again.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I thought while it was raining I'd do a little video for you guys, but it looks like it's going to rain all day. I got sent to Potosi in '99. Worked my way all up through the step-up program and everything. Got into population. And, you know, it's kind of a long process. It takes you a few months. They brought this guy in. He'd worked his way up. You know, he did like 9 months in the hole there. That's what you do when you get in trouble in another prison. You go there, you do like 9 months. Besides having capital punishment, it's a punishment prison. So he gets there. He's a little guy. I can't remember his name, but he worked out like crazy, man. I don't know if he was making up for his size or he just had a real dedication to working out. I and some others, we started getting along with him, hanging out with him and stuff. And he said he'd come from Pacific. Pacific is not too far from St. Louis. There's a prison there, a low-level prison. And he said one day him and 2 others tried to escape. He said the CO, and there's a female, he said, in the tire, fired 1 shot over him. Next one went right through him, his midsection. He said he had to have, I can't remember how many inches, but so much of his intestines replaced. It was plastic. And I said, well, I bet you one thing. And he said, what's that? I said, I bet you won't have the guts to do that again. And a bunch of us laughed. He didn't think he wasn't amused. He goes, that's really messed up, Harvey. But this guy had a habit, I guess because he'd been in a low-level prison, he had a habit of talking a lot about his case and also about other things he's seen going on around him. You know, there's this one dude walking around. He said, hey, man, is he a homosexual? I said, man, don't worry about it. It doesn't concern you. Don't worry about it. Man, he goes, I want to know who's around me, man. He kept talking about different things, supposedly that he never got caught for, and a bunch of us told him not to be doing that. It's not a good thing to do. Not that we was going to tell him, but you never know who is, you know. But at one point, one of my workout partners there asked him, says, why would you, and this guy had been down a couple times. This is his second bit. The first time was a long time. He did like almost 20 years. Not quite 20. But he asked him, he said, why do you and the other guys feel the need to try to escape? Did they talk you into it or something? You know, what was going on? Was it something you all came up with? He goes, well, we all came up with it. You know, got together and got talking, and eventually the conversation came around to trying to escape, and he said, and we decided we was going to do it. And he goes, where was you going to go when you got out? He goes, I wanted to go home. That guy said, let me tell you something. He said, first of all, that would have been the first place they would have looked for, is around your hometown, your home, your friends. And he said, they know who they are. That would have been the first place they would have looked. And so he explained all that to him and everything. I don't know the young guy got it or not. He said, man, I just wanted to go home. You know, I wanted to go back to my own. And he kept saying that, man. And we kept telling him, you know, that would have been the first place they would have looked for you at. And he goes, I don't care. The guy said, second of all, you can never go home. And I didn't even understand this at first. He goes, especially if you've been in prison a long time. He said, and he goes, now, because you got caught, you're going to be in prison a long time. He goes, you can never go home. He goes, you can go back to the place you grew up and everything, your family and everything, but you can never go home. And he was kind of telling me that too, and I was like, what? You're not making any sense, dude. I want to tell you something. When I got out of prison, I did 29 years. I got out of prison. I didn't go back right away to where I grew up at, farming community, the town, the small town and everything. I didn't go back there right away. You know, I live out in kind of southwestern Missouri. We went back there because I wanted to see friends and stuff, and I wanted to see the farm I grew up on and everything. Went back through that town, and the first thing I noticed, it was like a ghost town. The town's still there, but it was like nobody comes out. I was we started heading out to the farm. I was seeing familiar places. Some of them looked different, some of them didn't. It brought back a lot of memories, you know, growing up there. We get to the gravel road that leads down to the farm. I started getting excited, you know, getting pumped up. I was wrecking, and the farm that was next to ours looked exactly like it did when I left. I thought, man, wow. But when we hit our farm, it was completely different. No fields of hay, no fields of corn. Even the hilly areas that had woods on them, still had woods on them, but it was like real brushy now. You couldn't even hardly walk through some of it. Trust me, I tried deer hunting out there. It's rough to do. It almost brought me to tears, you know. And then when we was leaving, I was kind of in a somber mood, and family that was with me said, man, what are you thinking? I said, I'm thinking about something a guy told me in Potosi a long time ago. He said, you can never return home. And he's right. You can't. I don't know what I was looking for. I don't know if I really wasn't expecting to go out there and see my family running the farm, you know, and everything, but I wasn't expecting it to look like that. So you guys keep that in mind. You go to prison, it doesn't have to be out in the country or anything. When you get out, whether you're going back to your place in the city, somewhere in the country and everything, no matter where it's at, you can't return home. Not to the home you knew anyway, because it's going to be changed. You know, people that don't go to prison, you know, like grew up in my area, they saw these changes in the community and the surrounding areas, but it was slow to them. It was gradual change. But to me, I left and it looked one way. I come back and it looked completely different. So that's what I want to tell you guys. You know, that's one of the things that you're going to have to deal with when you're in prison, man. When you get out, returning home and everything, and it's going to mess you up seeing things different. You're going to lose people while you're in prison, family and loved ones, and you can't go to their funeral, and you can't go to weddings, you can't go to none of that. School friends you grew up with will be married and have families of their own when you get out. Oh, they'll probably get back in touch with you. While you're in prison, some of them will stop contacting you, you know, sending you emails, letters, whatever, because they got their lives to live. Life goes on, you know. Then you get out, and they, you know, when they come up, even the ones that come up and visit you and stuff, or talk to you on the phone and stuff, they're not going to tell you about all these different changes and stuff, because it's little changes to them. Oh, they might mention, oh, a store opened here or something, you know. And it really doesn't hit your mind until you get out, you know. Just don't go to prison. Avoid all of that. You know, live your life. Don't take anything for granted. You know, love life, man, and try to do good and not go to prison, man. It's not the life you want. It changes so many things about you, man. And you'll see so many changes when you get out. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching.